Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ from college football recruiting. Four-star quarterback Dante Moore has announced he will be going to Oregon as part of the class of 2023. Now, Moore led Detroit King to a 13-1 record last season in the Michigan Division III state championship. He is the number 8 recruit in the country, number 4 quarterback overall. According to our partners at 247Sports, a starter since his freshman year. Moore's scouting report says he's got great mechanics. He can put the ball into tight windows. He had 40 offers, and his final list included LSU, Oregon, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Texas A&M. He opts for Dan Lanning and the Ducks. His commitment moves the Ducks up from 28th to 17th in the 2023 overall class rankings. And for more on Moore's decision, let's bring in Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting at 247Sports. Steve, what was it about Oregon that pushed Moore out west versus the likes of Notre Dame and Michigan?
Well, Dante Moore was one of the first recruits in this 2023 class to emerge. He landed in a scholarship offer from Michigan in middle school. And talking to his coaches at Detroit King this week, there was always one constant in this young man's recruitment that was going to define which direction it went at the end. And it was going to be built on relationships and trust and ability to develop quarterbacks. But relationships and trust were the biggest thing that Dante Moore was looking for. And I don't think he had a stronger relationship with anyone than Kenny Dillingham, Oregon's offensive coordinator in this Ducks program. He has a lot of trust in this program moving forward with the foundation of the rapport that he built with Coach Dillingham. And, obviously there are a lot of other things that are exciting about Oregon with their pedigree and that program's track record, and getting to hang out with Marcus Mariota on his latest visit to Eugene at the end of the month. But at the end of the day, relationships mean a lot to Dante Moore. Oregon was his best, most consistent relationship when all said and done, and that's why he's now the jewel of their recruiting class.
And you see the national rank going from 26th up 10 spots to 16th. Steve, you guys saw him at the Elite 11, so what did you see there that makes him a good fit for this Ducks program?
Well, we've seen this young man for years. Again, he led Detroit King to his state title game as a freshman. They win the state championship as a junior. He's thrown over 100 career touchdown passes going into his senior season. He was our number 1 performer at the Elite 11 at 247Sports this past week. He's a tremendous prospect that's also shined at various 7-on-7s. I mean, he's a young man that if he has the ball at the end of the game, you feel really good about your chances of pulling out the ball game. He's incredibly mentally tough. He's wired right. He can make all the throws. He sees the field well. He's accurate. He anticipates. He's smart. 4.0 GPA to end this last semester. He checks all the boxes, and he's a young man that is going to go into what is a talented young quarterback room at Oregon, but he's going to be able to push it on day one, and we'll see what happens when he gets there.
And he's not a guy, he may not outrun a lot of guys, but he's certainly a quarterback that has some size to him at 210 pounds, not the easiest guy to bring down, and as you mentioned, can make all the throws. He becomes the 11th commit in that class of 2023 for Oregon. How is that class looking under Dan Lanning?
Well, you add Dante Moore, who's arguably the top quarterback in this class, to Jurion Dickey, who's arguably the top receiver. He's a stock-up guy for us as well. He's had a terrific offseason. You pair those two together, and that's a pretty dynamic duo with Moore and Dickey. And Oregon, we've seen them atop the Pac-12 standings for recruiting the last 4 or 5 cycles here. And when you land Dante Moore with what Oregon still has in play, they have a chance to make a serious run to the top 10 class now after landing, one of the top signal callers in America.
So another quarterback domino falls in the class. What kind of impact will this have on the rest of the class moving forward?
Well, let's look at his other contenders. You had LSU, where he visited a couple times. I think that they'll continue to try and chip away at a couple guys committed in-state. Ricky Collins, who's from Baton Rouge, he's a longtime commit to Jeff Brom in Purdue. And then Eli Holstein, he committed to Alabama. I'm not predicting either of these guys are on flip watch, but I do think that you'll see LSU continue to try and maintain dialogue with both of them. Notre Dame was the program that was considered the one to beat for a lot of this process with Dante Moore. What do? I think they put out some feelers to some other 2023 quarterbacks. They have CJ Carr, who committed with us on CBS Sports HQ, committed in the 2024 class. There's been talk of him potentially reclassifying. I'm not sure if there's been developments there. or not. But Notre Dame, maybe they sit back and watch senior film. I know that's what Michigan's going to do. Michigan told Dante he was the only quarterback that they were recruiting. So they got to go back to the drawing board. I anticipate them watching guys as seniors and maybe trying to get the spatula out and flip somebody or find a senior riser themselves. And then Texas A&M, they got him down in June. They were a contender for Dante Moore here late. He loved the track record Jimbo Fisher had with guys like Jameis Winston and company. A&M, they have an offer out to a young man committed elsewhere in Austin Novosad, who's in Baylor's class right now. But Austin Novosad's a Texas A&M legacy. Both his parents went to school in College Station. He grew up rooting for the Aggies, and talking to him at the Elite 11 finals, there was a lot for him to like about Texas A&M. But Ohio State's also in it. He could stick with Baylor. So those are the programs that Dante Moore impacts from a quarterback domino standpoint. We have another high-profile quarterback committing with us on CBS Sports HQ next Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. That's going to be Dylan Lonergan from the Peach State. He's down to Alabama, South Carolina, and Stanford. The crystal ball is favoring Alabama right now for him. He's the number 9 quarterback in the country. He's a top 100 recruit. Alabama looking to take 2 signal callers in this class with the attrition that they could have in their quarterback room. But South Carolina's been in that one for a long time, and Stanford and developing Davis Mills as of late and what they offer off the field. And he's going to play baseball in college too. So what all those programs offer from a baseball standpoint is going to make that recruitment and that commitment excited to watch with us next week.
Yeah, still a lot of dominoes to fall. And as you mentioned, big impact with this commitment here and another big commitment coming up on Monday. Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting at 247 Sports, discussing the commitment of 4-star quarterback Dante Moore to Oregon as part of the class of 2023. Of course, for all the latest from the recruiting trail and the look ahead to the season to come, be sure to check out 247 Sports. These guys have the inside track on all the up-and-coming talent in high school as they transition to the college game, an unbelievable database of player info and analysis. Check them out at 247sports.com.